all of you. So without further delay, Danish can start the special topic presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to our memorable lecturer, Madam Intan, and to us. Today, we would like to present to you about our ultra filtration process for production of cheese under separation process. So, before we start, let's introduce ourselves. So, this is our team members. The first is Izzat Shafiq, me as Danish Hakim, and lastly, Alif Najmi. So here are the table of contents for our presentation. So we start from our introduction, process description, equipment, and lastly our conclusion. So let's start for the introduction. So what is membrane separation? So membrane separation acts as a selective barrier, allowing relatively free passage of one component while retaining another. So in membrane contactors, the membrane function is to provide an interface between two phases, but not to control the rate of passage of fermions across the membrane. So there are four types of membrane technologies, which are reverse osmosis, microfiltration, nanofiltration, and ultrafiltration. Our group will touch more on ultrafiltration. So now we'd like to explain more on ultrafiltration in the industry. So what is ultrafiltration in food industry? Ultrafiltration, also known as UF, is a separation process for concentrating and purifying medium to high molecular weight components. So in this case, cheese, which is in the dairy business, the membrane method is utilized for non-thermal processing. Cheese production, milk production, and water treatment are examples that utilizes ultrafiltration process. So we're going to go to the principle of ultrafiltration in food industry. So there's a diagram below there. So I'm going to explain the principles. So firstly, the suspended solids and solutes of high molecular weight are retained called retentate. Water and low molecular weight solutes pass through the membrane called permeate. Uh, this method uses a hydrostatic pressure to separate through a semi-permeable membrane, which is the tubular membrane in the diagram. So our group will touch on ultrafiltration cheese. So what is ultrafiltration cheese? Uh, it is a process which an emulsion of milk separates continuously across a semi-permeable membrane film. So by using ultrafiltration cheese, we are able to increase the cheese yield by the incorporation of whey proteins. Ultrafiltration, unlike reverse osmosis of milk, where reverse osmosis concentrate at total solids. So how ultrafiltration process apply in cheese production? So in traditional cheese manufacture, the fat and casein in milk are concentrated and are removed by moisture. So this particular moisture is released during cheese making contains water-soluble components, including the whey proteins, lactose, and minerals. So this picture here is the example of the product. Okay, that is all from me. I would like to pass to the next presenter for the process description of ultrafiltration process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. So I will continue for the process description of ultrafiltration process. So first, the process use for heat treated or pasteurized milk is proper as turbulent flow by pump or by an inert gas at either low or high temperature across a semi-permeable membrane processing permeable processing membrane. So next, it use a protein of the material being retained called retented. And then we will go to the retented. The retented is concentrated to the point desired until no longer pass through the semi-permeable membrane. So it will have water, lactose, and soluble starch and soluble non-protein nitrogen move through the membrane. And then the retented with protein and insoluble starch concentrated to 6 times, adjust to setting temperature, and then the lactic acid, meat fat, color, and other microorganisms are introduced, and also the site is rejected at this point. And then last for the description of this process, the process is continuously to produce the liquid concentrate with the same composition of the cheese. And I forgot the standardization and fermentation also as the close to the UF process to convert the standard product. So that's all. And I pass to Izzat to continue for the equipment.
So thank you, Alex, Najmi, for this explaining about the description of process. Now I will explain about the type of equipment that we are using in ultrafiltration process. So let's without further ado, so this is the type of equipment that we are using in ultrafiltration, which is ultrafiltration plant. So as we can see at the left side, right? So at the left side, this is the production module for ultrafiltration plant. So it is quite simple power plant. That's not like as we always see like refining plant, wastewater plant, and others. So at the right side, this is the how the layout ultrafiltration was arranged in power plant. So as we can see, there are equipment that is arranged, organized, and vertical. So as we can see, the equipment that organized that arranged, organized, and vertical is we call as a module. So this is the module. So I will the next slide I will explain about the module. So this is the ultrafiltration module. So the function of module is to separate between retentate and permeate product, like Danish explained just now. So there is a membrane inside the module. So this is the membrane inside the module. So this membrane require large area for ultrafiltration process occur because it contains lots of pores. So this is the pores. It contains a lot of inside the module. So the smallest unit which the membrane is like I said, we call module. So the module usually divided into a section which is the flow between pairs of membrane in a parallel. So at support plate, the section are separated by the special membrane support plate. So this is the support plate. So the support plate, one hole is closed with a stop disc to reverse the direction of flow, resulting in parallel flow between permeate and retentate. So as you can see, if we close this one hole with this, the flow inside will be in parallel. So that's all for the module. So we're gonna do the plate and frame membrane module. So as we can see, this was a plate and frame membrane module. So the plate and frame module, this is the working principle. So the plate and frame module is designed with open channel. So this is open channel, not a closed channel. So module is supported by plates that allow the permit to collect and be removed via permit collecting tubes. So this is the tubes. So this is the permit channel. So plate and frame module seal off the retentate from mixing into permit channel. So this is the retentate mixing. So as we can see, it's seal off between the permit and retentate to ensure that retentate is not enter the permit channel. So the flow is in model is perpendicular to the membrane. So this is the advantage of plate and frame module. So first is a better separation. Solid being able to be easily separated from water. So the second one is does not require fit space. This is because a plate and frame installation. Oh no, sorry. So this is because the plate and frame module reduce the potential for falling that can contribute high solids concentration. And last is high permit capacity because a plate and frame installation has a higher permit capacity per unit of membrane area compare spiral wood wound membrane element. So that's all for the types of equipment for ultrafiltration. Now I will show you, this is the video, how cheese was made in the industry. So that's all about how the cheese was ultrafiltration cheese was made. So for the conclusion, I will pass back to Danish to conclude of our process.
Thank you, Izzat. Now let's get straight into the conclusion of our presentation. So in conclusion, we can say that ultrafiltration cheese is much better than the traditional and conventional production of cheese. So why? First and foremost, it has better yield, which is more grade high quality cheese. So with traditional cheese making in vats, only the casein and fat is retained in the cheese. With the UF method, whey proteins as well as casein and fat is retained. In consequence, the ultrafiltration method requires approximately 20% less milk per kilo cheese. Secondly, it is less rennet. In a traditional vat process, it is necessary to rennet the entire milk volume, whereas in the UF method, only the concentrate volume needs renneting. The concentrate volume is typically 5 times less than the milk volume. Accordingly, the rennet consumption will be considerably lower than when using the ultrafiltration method. Thirdly, it is flexible. So the same UF plant can produce concentrate with a wide variety of compositions, for example, like fat and concentrate. Production change from one type to another can be handled in fully automatic process control systems via recipe handling. At the same time, the possibility to switch recipes on the same plant offers an excellent opportunity to introduce new products without having to invest in new equipment. Lastly, it is continuous and fast process. So the traditional cheese making process in vats is by nature a batch process. By the ultrafiltration method is a true continuous process. Standardized and pasteurized milk is fed into the UF plant, and concentrate leaves the plant in a continuous flow. The UF process is extremely fast, requiring an average of less than 10 minutes for it to enter until the concentrate leaves the plant. So the ultrafiltration cheese making method is greater than standard cheese processes in terms of retentate. The ultrafiltration cheese produced free of milk bacteria, which is sterile. And the unique method of ultrafiltration cheese contributes to our future food technologies, which is good for our generation. That is all from me for the conclusion.
So that's all from us. So here's some another inspirational quote that I found. So success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So I took from Winston Churchill quote. So that's all from us. Thank you. Madam. Uh, uh, Madam lagging ke? Madam, tentang
Hello.
dengan Madam sangkut-sangkut. Hello, Madam.
Oh my.
Dah okay kot.
Okay. Can you
Okay
hear
dah.
me?
Ya, ya.
Alright. Sorry. Alright, I repeat back. Okay, Danish. Why do you think separation process is important in our daily life and especially in industry?
So, in my personal opinion, it is important for students to understand the separation process because if you see, majority of the industries utilizes the separation process. So, it is very inevitable for them to understand it. In general, it is wider than just food industry. For example, for transportation, we need the distillation column. So the distillation column, utilizing the separation process, is needed to produce fuel for planes, cars, and so much more. So this is my personal take on separation process. That is all.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danish, for your answer. All right, now Alif. Okay, Alif. Beside food industry, can Alif give me 3 other industry that apply separation process?
First, chemical industry. Second, nuclear power industry. And third, petroleum industry.
Petroleum industry. All right. So next, Izzat. Okay, Izzat.
Yes.
What motivate you? What motivate you to choose this topic in your presentation? Why you choose this
So,
topic?
for my opinion, why I choose these topics because this ultra filtration process is a future technology for food industry. So where we require, like Dennis said before, cheese production, ultra cheese production produce free bacteria of milk, which is good for our health system. So that's why I think this ultrafiltration needs more we need to more introduce to the our society to ensure this process can what we call kembang.
Expand. All right. All right. I understand what you want to say. All right. Okay. So that's all group 1. Thank you, Danish, Izzat, and Alif. Assalamualaikum.
Thank
Okay,
you,
madam.
madam.
Salam.
Thank you, madam.
Madam first time
Okay,
tengok muka kita orang ke?